당신의 지옥과 나의 지옥이.
Hey there folks, we're back again with yet another marvelous video. And this time we will be covering the highly acclaimed Korean dark fantasy show Hellbound. Written and directed by Yeon Sang-ho and Choi Seok, Hellbound is adapted from its namesake Webtoon created by the same duo. The first season of the show debuted on Netflix in November 2021 and quickly went on to become the most watched Netflix show globally in the streaming service's history. While many thought that the show would be riding on the coattails of the Squid Games, which had just finished airing, Hellbound was a genuinely original, interesting, and fresh concept that went on to garner critical acclaim from both fans and critics alike. In fact, it would be so successful that Netflix would declare it to be the most watched show globally in the streaming platform's history. The show presented to the audience a society as it devolved into a dystopia. Normally in most movies and series we get to see an already existing dystopian world, but Hellbound takes us on a journey where we get to witness and experience this process firsthand along with its denizens. It deals with profound human themes of faith, belief, love, hubris, and fear, among others, and challenges the notions of what we consider moral and amoral, along with a wider question of what it means to be human. For more context, in this world, the concept of divinity is no longer up for dispute as the curtains between the divine and the mundane have been partially cast aside. In this world, humans are visited by disembodied apparitions that decree their deaths along with condemning them to hell and issuing the exact time of their demise. These creatures are dubbed as angels by the cults that have sprung up in the aftermath of these events. On the fated day, these individuals are confronted by three mysterious hulking monsters that appear exactly on the time given to them by the angels, who brutally beat them up and then siphon their souls to hell. As you can imagine, the widespread hysteria these events cause in society leads to a breakdown of the social machinery. The rule of law takes a backseat as the rule of the divine, along with the would-be prophets and followers of this new way of life, aka the cults, take center stage. The world is uncertain about what the future holds, and the present is threatened to be overrun by charlatans or anarchists. Season 1 did a stellar job mixing these themes with the element of horror, resulting in its massive success. With the second season having dropped after a 3-year hiatus, there were some trepidations about how well the show would do yet again. Thankfully, the show continued to hit home runs with each of the 6 episodes in its second season. It not only lived up to the hype, but it arguably outshone the first season, which cannot be said for the most series that are being presented before us these days. We were treated to some shocking revelations and more questions regarding this mysterious world. The season finale, for which we have done an ending explained video, has a lot for us to unpack, which we can use to speculate about what season 3 of this now, which appears to be a juggernaut of a franchise in the making, will have in store for us. So strap in, grab your popcorn as we put on our tinfoil hats to talk and speculate about Hellbound Season 3, and let's just hope we don't receive our decree before the video ends. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means an awful lot. Thank you, and let's begin. We will get to witness an almost post-apocalyptic world as the end of the world that Jung-ha predicted will finally come to pass. At the end of the season, we saw a number of individuals receiving their decrees from the angels, including Senior Secretary Lee. It was portrayed as the start of the end of the world that Jung-ha predicted at the end of the series. We believe that this prediction will come true as more and more people begin receiving decrees. It will completely shatter the social machinery which was already on thin ice during the first and second seasons. The two major factions, New World and New Will completely take over society. The few people who do not wish to engage with either of the two will lead miserable lives, and people will be forced to pick sides. Families will be divided like we saw in the case of Si-hyung and his wife as a frenzy driven by fear. Anarchy and zealotry will make it every man or woman for him or herself. Chaos and confusion will reign supreme once more as a separate power struggle will begin, fueled by the government endorsing one of the two sides. We will also likely see a shift in how the landscape is presented to us, with the buildings and the cities displaying a more torn down and forlorn look to them. Law and order, which was already on tenterhooks, will be almost non-existent. With members of law enforcement and policymakers being targeted with decrees, there will be no one left to maintain order in society. Due to the death of Pinwheel and Jin-so, the arrowheads will probably become even more unpredictable. Without anyone to give them direction and control, the remaining members will likely become almost feral, attacking and pillaging anyone that they deem to be their enemy. They will come to represent the absolutely incorrigible and depraved side of society. We will see an overwhelming surge of crime as people grow desperate, knowing they're bound to hell regardless of what they do. The decreed individuals will most likely be haunted by those seeking to earn favor with the divine by taking out the damned. Ignorance will run rampant as conflicting theories regarding the events and the understanding of the divine will be propagated by the various groups, with the truth being obfuscated in the process. All of this results in the total collapse of a moral society, and the apocalypse that Jung-ha spoke of will not just be of the infrastructure but of the mind and human spirit as well. Yeon will be the protagonist of the new season as the chosen one. We believe that there will be a major time skip in season 3 of the series, which will allow the show to portray a slightly older Yeon as the primary protagonist of the series. It will show her life with Hyejin as they probably try to survive in this dystopian world after they make their escape. We will probably see her moving from place to place, never having the luxury to settle down after being sheltered from the outside world as a child. We will likely see her coming to grips with the reality of the world. As the miracle baby, who we know is the first individual to ever resurrect, her importance in the show is clear. Amidst all the chaos and esoteric messaging, it will be cool to witness a coming-of-age story as a young girl learns about her place in the world. We will also get to see a lot more of Hyejin and her life together, and we can rest assured that she will learn from the best there is. We expect the different factions to begin scrambling in order to find Jaehyun to leverage her for power. All the people who have resurrected so far have had something unique happen to them. Jin So turned into an executor demon, and Jung has returned with a gift of foresight. Therefore, Jaehyun will probably have something happen to her due to her resurrection as well. We will have to see whether it will be a gift or a curse in Season 3, as it might be one of the major plot lines of the series. We're sure that Jaehyun will have a major role, regardless of whether our speculations come true for Season 3 or Hellbound. The origin of the divinity and the demons explored. Are they extraterrestrials or rogue entities? The nature in which the people are being marked for execution and how every single one of them has been damned to hell is highly problematic. While it might be chalked up as the showrunners going all out in order to add a shocking element of horror by doing this, the opposite could also be true. The apparitions and the demons might not be God or the supreme deity of the world, but a faction of rogue entities who have decided to go against their natural order of things. For someone like Jaehyun, who hasn't even lived her life, to be targeted doesn't make any sense other than the fact that the powers behind these decrees have a purpose other than punishing the wicked. Even if it were meant to be the advent of the apocalypse throughout all the myths and religions of the world, the innocent are never targeted. It is always about the purging of the weak. We understand that the show is trying to subvert this notion so as to create confusion and discord in the minds of the audience. But this just challenges the notion of divinity for these entities further. The vengeful aspect of the divine is not new to humanity, but it seems to be random chaos. This leads us to believe that maybe these creatures are not divine at all, but extraterrestrials. The angels could be some sort of high-tech holographic projection. What makes us indict these creatures as extraterrestrials is also the nature in which these executions are carried out. When one thinks of death caused by the supernatural, one's thoughts normally wander towards things as we've seen in the movie Final Destination or even Death Note. There is an element of the people dying in these series due to supernatural causes, but in Hellbound they're literally beaten to death, and their souls are then siphoned off to hell. What is problematic is that hell is supposed to be a world of eternal suffering. So why is there a need for this brutality? And even if there is a need for it, why is there a set pattern to this action? Shouldn't it be different for different individuals who are damned, whether it's a baby or a rapist? These monsters seem to go about their business in the same manner no matter what. Another thing is why the divine needs to employ corporal creatures to carry out its bidding. Not to mention, after they're done, they seem to teleport out of the scene using a portal of sorts, which looks like a work of science more than faith. All of these things gives us reason to believe that maybe the so-called God, demon, and angels of the show are nothing but aliens with extremely high levels of technology or even extra-dimensional beings to whom our concept of time, space, and reality don't apply. They can also just be rogue divine entities led by someone or something that has grown tired of humanity's discordant ways. There have been multiple instances in comic books and movies of beings of higher power despairing of humanity's actions, causing them to set out to destroy them. Once, due to the nature of these decrees being against the natural order of things, these creatures could have revolted or usurped the power of God. They could be acting independently, which would explain why they would even target a baby, because for fanatics, whether they are human or divine, there are no innocents, only enemies. We're more than likely going to see these complex themes regarding their origin explored in Season 3 because while we enjoyed the esoteric and mysterious air that the show has built up over the past 2 seasons, there has to be some payoff to justify it, or it becomes just another tired gimmick. We will see the repercussions of the resurrections as more people come back to life and a new world order will be established. As more and more people are handed out decrees for their deaths, there will be others who will come back to life. These individuals will either have new talents and abilities like Jung-ha or transform into new executor demons. We will learn why it is that some have resurrected while others are not. These people will have a special status in society where they are either sought after by the zealots in search of salvation or power-hungry individuals who wants to use them to increase their influence. Soon, the decrees will become so widespread that most of humanity will be wiped out, and the world will be inhabited by the resurrected ones and the few who have been spared. This will establish a new world order and reset the world, which might be the end goal of all the entities. A new world led by these so-called chosen beings will lead humanity into a new era, one where the divine and the human are closer than ever. Marvelous verdict. We do not know as of yet whether Season 3 of the show is on the horizon, but if it is, you will be the first to hear about it right here from us. Netflix rarely does 3 seasons of a TV show, but if any series deserves to belong to this rare category, Hellbound would have to be one of it. We believe that Season 3 will focus very much on humanity navigating these new frontiers. If the way that the showrunners have presented the second season of this series is anything to go by, we can rest assured that the third season will be a banger as well. With there still being a lot of loose ends to tie up, we are hopeful that the show won't take another 3 years to return. We also feel that somehow Jinso's story is not yet over, despite having turned into a demon at the end of the season. After being a major part of the series for the first 2 seasons, it is unlikely that he's going to fade away just like that. Whatever the future holds, we are sure that Hellbound Season 3 is one of the most anticipated shows on Netflix, and announcements regarding it should be made sooner rather than later. Well, we've come to the end of this video, and it's time for us to say goodbye. Our channel is filled with many more marvelous videos regarding Hellbound and your favorite TV shows, movies, anime, and more, so be sure to check them out after you're done here. Thank you for sticking with us right to the end, and we would not have been able to do this without your support, and we hope to see you on our next video. Until then, stay safe out there. Peace.
If you enjoyed this video, click on the like button and comment below about which other movie reviews you would want to watch. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.